Hello, welcome back to another episode of Internal Rambles. This is your girl, Rochelle. If you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you for tuning in. Internal Rambles is a podcast where I discuss what's happening and goings on in music, movies, television, and I sprinkle in a little bit about what's happening in my life. Also, in addition, I do reality show recaps, which is what we are here for today. Please subscribe to me wherever you get your podcast content so that you get my episodes and you don't miss out on what I have going on over here. This will be another recap of Love and Marriage Detroit Season 2, recapping episode 4. I initially wasn't going to release any episodes this week because it is my birthday week, but I won't be my normal episodes where I discuss what's happening in the entertainment world releases on Thursdays. Again, there won't be an episode on Thursdays, but I decided to go ahead and push out my reality recap. It's a little bit late, but better late than never. So that's what I will be doing, recapping episode 4 of Love and Marriage Detroit. And at the end of this episode, I will be discussing, it's going to be a little bit of a reality show roundup, discussing not only Love and Marriage Detroit, but I am going to give my quick thoughts on the finale of The Circle and the first episode of Love is Blind. So if you have not seen the finale of The Circle or the first episode of Love is Blind, just go ahead and click off because it will be spoiler alert. But thank you again for tuning in. Let's get on into episode 4 of Love and Marriage Detroit, which was titled No Love, No Grace, and All Shade. Alrighty? Alright. Okay, so episode 4 picks up where the last episode ended. We are with LaToya, Anthony, Brandon, and Christina, and they are at the Knocker Ball game place, which is where they are trying to mend fences and hash out grievances. Really, LaToya and the husbands are trying to get LaToya and Christina to hash out whatever issues that they have with each other. And so Brandon asked if Kim was brought to Bravo's dinner to stir the pot between Kim and Christina, and Brandon asked if Kim had been talking about Christina, and LaToya says that she didn't know the depths of the issues that Christina and Kim had, and that she did not bring Kim to Bravo's dinner to go at Christina, which I find very interesting because in the previous episode, Kim says that she did not know that Christina and LaToya were friends. So if LaToya is saying that she didn't know the depths of an issue, that the depths of the issue between Christina and Kim, it sounds like, but you knew there was an issue. So you did know that you were bringing someone that did have an issue is an issue. Because me personally, I don't like being around, no matter how big or how small. If I got an issue with someone, I got an issue with someone. So, and there's certain times where if I'm out and I'm trying to have a dinner or whatever, I don't like having people in my space that I know I have an issue with or they have an issue with me. So it sounds like LaToya knew there was some sort of an issue. So LaToya and Kim's accounts are not fully lining up. Latoya knew that there was an issue, basically. I'm sorry. It's true. And Latoya seems to conveniently have amnesia. And I think that when it seems like to her when she says, well, I don't know, I don't remember, she thinks that is going to solve an issue. But lying by omission is still a lie. I don't know if she understands that fully, but nonetheless. So Anthony suggests that both ladies have a clean slate with each other, and that moving forward, if one has an issue with the other, that they talk and go directly to that person versus going to other people and talking about the issue, so that things don't get blown up or things don't snowball into an issue that can't get resolved. And both ladies agree, they hug it out, kumbaya it. But honestly, do I believe that they both have squashed and truced the issue? No. But maybe in that moment, just for a brief moment, sure. But overall, no. I don't think that the issue is fully resolved, especially because we still don't know why Latoya has an issue with Christina, other than, I think that this is my thing. I think that Latoya had an issue with the way that Christina has talked to her in the past, and I think that she's had an issue maybe with the way, I think she's heard some things and she has maybe said, well, I don't like that type of a person from what I hear. Kind of like, well, my friends don't pump with you, and I don't like that type of a person, so I'm not going to pump with you. But at the end of the day, it's like, for me, there's been people that, I may have heard certain things, but if I don't experience, unless you're like a really horrible person, but if I don't have that experience, I gotta experience that for you. I think it's kind of high schoolish to be like, my friend not friends with you no more, so I can't be friends. It's like, but if I haven't had a true issue with you, it's like mean, almost not mean girlish, but it's kind of like, well, I don't have an issue with you. Like, Okay. As y'all hear the rustling of my notes. Okay, let's move on. But they call it a truce, so we'll see how much of a truce it really is going to be. Next, we see Colby and Russell. Colby brings their daughter to the gym that they own, and Colby and Russell has a discussion, and Russell just talks about how busy his day was and how he's had meetings and upon meetings, and how he's had to come to the gym and do work on the gym, and just how he's been dealing with a lot. And Colby kind of side eyes him and says like, yeah, okay, well, I'm busy too. But she says that she feels as though he has a bit of an out, and that he doesn't really get to experience some of the hardship that she has, because she's the one that has to figure out the child care. And if she has to go do something, she's the one that has to figure out what's going to happen with their daughter. He can run around and kind of float about a bit more freely, because he doesn't have to figure out, okay, well, this came up, but he doesn't have to worry about, oh, but what about, getting my child from point A to point B, or is there going to be someone that's going to be able to take care of their daughter, etc. That responsibility falls pretty much solely on Colby. So, he does agree that he doesn't have to worry about that, but I don't think he fully understands how overwhelmed that Colby does, because I think that's the expectation that he has, is that, that's your job, you the mama. Yeah, that's my words, that's not his. So, Colby says that she also is a bit frustrated because he takes on a lot when someone has an issue. They run to Russell, and he's very helpful, and he's pretty much Superman for people that has an issue. But whenever she has an issue or an inconvenience, or he sees it as more of an inconvenience, and he's not as empathetic to her as he is to people on the outside world. And he doesn't see that she needs some grace as well. She wants him to be as understanding and as helpful to her as he is to people that reaches out to him. And my thought immediately was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's in divinity school, and he's studying, I think, to be a pastor or like a reverend, or whichever terminology we want to use. And I'm like, man, just wait. If he does actually go into any sort of pastoral career line, that's going to actually be his role. Like, he's doing it, now, but if he does become a pastor, that's what they do. He is going to be that counselor, or that pastoral counseling, or when there is an issue, people are going to be running to him. Like, he is going to be that go-to person. And if she has an issue with it now, I mean, his time is, if he is the head of a church, or if he has a role in a church, especially if it's a significant role in a church, his time is going to be taken up by that role. And I don't know if I think she is aware of that, because I think her father is a pastor or something like that. I think she is aware. I think that's why she's like, I don't want to be a preacher's wife or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be difficult. So I think that Colby, she's very communicative in what her concerns and what her needs are. But I don't know if Russell fully hears her. And I just really hope that he really can hear, like, she be saying what she needs. So I hope that he really can hear that his wife is saying, hey, I need some of that grace and some of that care and that concern too that you're giving to the people on the outside of our home. Moving on. Next, we see Brandon and Christina. Brandon comes over for dinner, and they discuss that recently it was Thanksgiving holiday. Brandon, who is not living at the home, stayed over for a few nights because it was a Thanksgiving holiday, and people in their family do not know that they are separated. And so, just so that there isn't a lot of questions and probing, he stayed in the home to make it seem as though everything is, hunky-dory and business as usual. And so Christina, I believe it was Christina, suggested that they have a conversation with the kids, because just to kind of clarify, or just to discuss what's going on, because that may have been confusing, that dad was home for a few days, but now he's back gone again. But before they had the discussion with the kids, they have a discussion amongst themselves, and Brandon shares, I'm ready to come home. I've been gone for X amount of time. And so Christina says, are you really ready to be home? Because if you are, that means that I need you to be here. I need you to show up. I need you to be present. I need you to be active. So you say that you are ready to be home, but are you really ready to be here and be a husband and be present and be active? So very interestingly, they talk to their daughters, and even the eldest daughter, I don't know the child's name, says, that the daughters say that they want Brandon to be home, and the eldest daughter says, but you need to do better. You need to do, if you come home, like, you need to do better. And so Brandon's like, well, what has your mom been telling you? What do you mean I need to do better? And the child's like, mom hasn't said anything. It's very, like, children, and I think that the daughter may be like 8. I'm not sure. I think somewhere around there. Kids, especially once they get to a certain age, they see kids are very smart, especially kids nowadays. Mom doesn't have to say anything, but kids can see mom does this, mom does that, my dad be in and out, or yeah, I'm not saying this is the situation, but it probably is. Mom is overwhelmed. All I see is mom doing it. Most likely, kids can put 2 and 2 together and get 4. And so Brandon's like, well, mom we weren't seeing eye to eye. We love each other, but mom has some things she got to do too. I'm still trying to figure out what mom, aka Christina, need. He really hasn't. I need specifics, because we have an idea. He really hasn't identified what he needs from Christina. I just say. But I think it's very interesting that even the daughter is like, listen, buddy, I'm going to need you to do better. Buckle up and put on your big boy pants and help mom out. Okay? So I thought that was very, very, very interesting. Moving on, all of the guys. So we have Russell, we have Bravo, we have the new guy, Marcel, we have Anthony. Hopefully I'm not missing anyone that's possible. All of the guys, they go out and they do X Golf, which is kind of like a virtual golfing thing, just to kind of reconnect. They mentioned that they really haven't had an opportunity to get together without their wives. So they get together just to have fun, play a little golf, have a little food, and just try to reconnect. And Bravo shares that he wasn't really appreciative of the fact that at his anniversary dinner for one of his clubs or venues, that Kim kind of showed her tail going after Christina. But he, is still open to Marcel, which is Kim's husband. So the guys are discussing, they're just talking about how some of the women have like issues with each other, and they all agreed that they're all cool with each other and they're going to let the women have their issues. They're not going to intervene in any of the issues that the women are having. So Marcel comes through and he kind of, I don't know, I'm not Kim, I can't say, I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of hers. She's kind of on the like, I don't know about her list. But Marcel kind of came in kind of shaky a little bit too. Like, it almost seemed like he was about to start a little trouble. But then he said, he sat down, he was like, to Brandon, he's like, listen, our wives, Kimberly and Christina, they don't see eye to eye. He's like, listen, I don't have a problem with you. We're not going to be buddy, but we can be cordial. And so Brandon was like, hi, like, Brandon don't care. He's like, listen, I don't even know what's going on. I'm trying to get back with my wife. Brandon's like, hi, but it almost seemed like Marcel was coming in on the defensive, and I don't remember which one. I want to say it was Bravo, but it was one of the guys who was like, we don't even really know you like that. Like, so it was kind of like a weird energy, but then he smoothed it over. So, I don't know, but it's just, I don't even know. Ultimately, he did say he would be cordial with Brandon, which is good, because Brandon, I don't think he was seeing Marcel in any kind of a way, because it really do seem like they trying to figure out why all these people got issues with them. So that was that. That was the guys' outing. Later on, the women, Latoya invites the women to brunch. So it was Latoya, Colby, Christina, and Kimberly, with another attempt to try to get the women on a better page, especially because, supposedly Latoya and Christina have flown the white flag. So Latoya shares again that she did not bring Kimberly to Bravo's dinner or party, anniversary party, to cause any issues, that she didn't bring Kimberly to come at Christina. So Christina says that there was a lot of jabs at her character from Kimberly that she just really didn't understand. So Kimberly gets emotional and she says, listen, I've always rooted for you. I saw you as a sister. But basically, I don't know if she really said this, but like things changed. So they decided that this wasn't the right venue, that there were a lot of things that needed to be discussed. And so Kimberly and Christina stated that they would have a separate conversation away from Colby and Kimberly to try to hash things out. And so ultimately the brunch ended up being more positive. They all talked about motherhood. They're all moms, and just kind of some of the struggles that they all are having or have had. And they all offered support. So it was actually like a really, despite like whatever issues anyone has had with each other, they all shared some of the struggles that they've had. A lot of them could relate with each other, and then they all offered support. So it was actually an end off on what could have been like someone throwing a drink across the table or whatever, actually ended up on a positive note. So that was good. Later on in the episode, we see Lakita and Bravo, and Bravo owns multiple clubs or venues, and so I think Lakita was thinking that Bravo was going to be at home, the kids were away, and they were going to have a nice little married couple a night together. And Bravo was like, yeah, I got to go, I got work. And she was like, where are you going? And what are you? And he's like, well, I got to do this, and then I might do, and then I may, and then, I may got to end up over here, and then, I got to work. So Lakita shares that she has an issue that he be out all night, like he owns bars, nightclubs, but that he doesn't communicate, and he'll be out all night and doesn't check in with her and just let her know that, hey, I'm okay, or everything's good, and this is a concern to her. But also she shares that her father, when she was young, I think maybe she said 5, I'm not sure, when she was a young girl, her father was murdered outside of a bar. So it's just very upsetting and triggering for her that he's out all night and just never just sends. She tells him, just send me a text, hey, I'm okay, I'll be home at 4, or hey, just wrapping up here, be home soon. She's like, even if you think I'm not awake, that's okay, but at least when I wake up, I'll see a text that you texted me that you're almost home. And so he says that he'll do better with communicating with her, and he's like, well, what time should he? And she is like, it's not a time, it's just let me know that you're okay, let me know what you're doing. Like, you be running, but you never think like, maybe I should just let my wife know that it's all good, I'm out all night, like I'm not, you're not single, let your wife know you're okay. So he says that he's gonna do better with it, but we'll see. He actually reminds me of DJ Silva from Love and Marriage, DC, who's a DJ, workaholic, literally works himself into the ground, and his wife, who I can't think of her, I can't think of his wife's name right now. I see her face, but can't think of it. Is constantly saying to him, spend time, slow down, let me know what's going. Like, it's just, I mean, maybe he's not to the extent of DJ Silva, but very similar. And it's just like communication is key. No, you don't have to be a, running clubs, but no matter what you do, whether you work at McDonald's, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you work at Starbucks, you're, I don't know, I mean, I can think of whatever. You're an accountant. Communication is always key. But especially if you're in a role where you're out and about, so many things could be happening at a bar or a nighttime venue. Just let your significant other know that you're good, that you're on the way, or especially if you're typically home at this time but something comes up and you're home a little bit later, just send a text. That's it. And especially if you know her history, that she lost someone, like, especially because of that. Come on. Okay. At the end of the episode, Brandon invites a few ladies, to help him go ring shopping. He's going to have a surprise party for Christina, birthday party, and he wants to upgrade her wedding ring. So he invites Christina's niece, along with Chelsea, her friend, Colby, and Latoya, to a jeweler to help him pick out a ring. And I'm like, do you really need all the... I mean, I guess it's for the show, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna rock with it. So it starts off fine, then Chelsea and everybody comes. Chelsea confronts Latoya because last season, Anthony, who... I want to be nice. I forgot that Chelsea was... I actually wouldn't have known this because I didn't know who this person was. But now I know. Latoya had an event for her wine, and out of the blue, Anthony attacked Chelsea, called her a little girl. I think she was just talking and asking questions. She was just... there was no reason for this. Called her a little girl, said, you need to respect, you around big bosses, act like you know it. What? She did absolutely nothing that they showed, unless somebody, want to say otherwise, to get this incredibly ridiculous, disrespectful energy that Anthony gave her. And why Latoya didn't check him, I don't know. And he's very lucky, because there's a lot of women that would have obliterated Anthony. But you know what? People do certain things to certain people that they feel like, and not saying that Chelsea, I think she was just caught off guard. I think she definitely can hold her own, but I think she was just like, where am I? I definitely think she was caught off guard. So anyway, so Chelsea confronts Latoya because she says that she's been hearing people say that, and I guess they said during the reunion that Chelsea had been saying negative things about Latoya's wine company, and that Chelsea has been encouraging people not to buy the wine. And so Chelsea was like, well, show me the receipts that I did that, because I'm not sure what you're talking about. And of course, here go Latoya. Well, I'm not sure. I don't remember. Of course, again, she can't remember anything. And so she's like, well, how can you say that I'm doing this, but you can't show and prove? Colby tries to step in, as I guess a friend should, but then it just, I don't know why Colby stepped in, because whatever, I don't even know. So then Chelsea's like, I'm talking to Latoya. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. She's calling me out of, saying that I'm doing something that she can't prove. So then, Chelsea turns up because they turned up on her. So she said, well, I'm gonna do the same energy. Honestly, that's probably what happened. So then Chelsea says, well, why am I talking to the two stooges? I'm trying to get to the bottom with Latoya. Colby's like, I'm pregnant. I can't deal with this. And she leaves. So, and like Brandon's just like, I don't know what's going on. We staying out of women's business. I don't really agree with that. I really feel like he didn't have to step in. I think he should have said, listen, if y'all have an issue, can y'all care? Like, we're here for, he could have just squashed it. Like, y'all settle this elsewhere. Y'all in a jewelry, that word is really hard for me. Jewelry shop. Like, he didn't have to get in it, but he could have, like, told them to squash it until elsewhere. But anyways, so then Latoya's like, listen, I'm going to leave. And by the way, Christina's party, I'm not going to go because I don't want no problems. And I'm like, which connection? Like, first of all, this is Chelsea. Chelsea's turning up. But and Chelsea's like, there's not going to be no problem at Christina's party. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I respect you. Thank you, Brandon, for the olive branch, but I'm not going to go to Christina's party. And then she leaves. And honestly, Latoya, you said you were squashing the beef and you were waving a white flag. But Christina didn't have nothing to do with whatever issue Chelsea had. And by the way, the issue that Chelsea has with you, your husband started. And again, had nothing to do with Christina. You ain't want to go to that party. Any little reason, you know what? I'm good. That's all that was. That ain't had nothing to do with Christina. Christina was not there. She didn't bring up Christina's name. That's not an issue with Christina. That's how the show ended. That's why I say, like, it was a white flag, but it was that white flag is probably gray. It's not a true white flag at all. So that's that. I mean, I don't really understand. I get sort of why Colby has an issue with Christina. I don't know why Kim has an issue with. We haven't heard it, the full issue of what Kim's issue is with Christina. And Latoya's issue with Christina is just like, she has a vicarious, like, her issues are the issues that other people have, and then she's adopted them as her own. It's super weird. And that was that. I will say this season is better, but I don't know. I at some point, well, I'm gonna save that thought that I just had. And that was that. So what are your thoughts? This episode was a lot. There was a lot going on. I hope I didn't mess up nobody's name. If I did, I'm sorry. I'm not editing this one. Was it last episode or the episode for last? It was episode for last. I'm not editing. If I messed up, listen, it's a lot going on. I'm not doing it. So that is that. We will see what happens. They're gonna show. I think is next episode Christina's party. Maybe. So we will see what happens in the next episode. Okay, really quickly, and I mean really quickly. This is spoiler alert. If you have not seen the finale of The Circle or the first episode of Love is Blind, go ahead and exit out of here. I'm going to be honest, I did not watch the full episode of the finale of The Circle. Once I saw that they eliminated Jadeja, I just forwarded it to the end because that was my girl. Darian and Jadeja. So I don't know what happened between Jadeja getting eliminated and the finale. I did see them all meeting each other. I thought that was cute. And I did see when they started like eliminating like who won. So like who was in 5th place, who was in 4th place. I did see that. I think I mentioned in one of my episodes that if Jadeja didn't win, I think I said I wanted Gianna to win, and Gianna did win. So I think that they played a really great game. No one suspected, to my knowledge, no one suspected them of being a catfish. I think they played really great. I think they were loyal. They were loyal to Rachel, even though people kept saying she was a catfish, which she was. And I think they said even though she was a catfish, they still was like, we still gonna be loyal to that catfish. That Long Island connection, they were loyal to that, and they were loyal. They were loyal to Jadeja. It just was that they were loyal to Jadeja. They were loyal to Darian as much as they could. They stuck to their word for the most part as much as they could. And they just played a really great social game, which is what The Circle is, just despite them being a catfish. And Kevin, I think he did too many people dirt. I liked Kevin just like, he was like like a cute little, like, he was your typical like young fratty boy, like, he's just silly, and but he just did too many people dirty, and it's like, you gotta be loyal somewhere. What's done in the dark is gonna come to light, and he just did too much. So no, but I think Gianna, I was happy with Gianna, aka the twins. I'm glad with that. I didn't like that the host wasn't there, Michelle. And I'm like, has that happened before? Maybe it has. But I'm like, at least you're not there any other time except for the finale. At least like meet the people. But I think she's in a new show, so that's probably why she wasn't there. But I'm like, she couldn't be there virtually. Like, I think that's just really super weird. Like, I don't know. But this season, I think I liked better than last season. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. So that's that. I'm cool with, if Jadeja and Darian didn't win, I'm cool with Gianna winning. And I think they really earned it, though. They played a really great game. So that's that. Love is Blind. Love is Blind is so annoying in the beginning. And I have to remember that it's such an accelerated process because I think that they are in the pods for 10 days. But I think it's just so super weird that it's like day 2 and they'll be like, I think I'm almost at the L word. I think I'm almost at the L word. I'm like, on day 2, bruh? They have some really like beautiful black women. Like, I'm like, yes, black girl magic. But I'm like, we have seen, I think, 2 of them. I want to see something, but I don't, it's too early. Let me watch these other episodes because there's been a history of complaints about Love is Blind, but let me watch the first few episodes before I get on my soapbox. But the chick Hannah, when I tell you, I've already been like, I haven't yelled at my screen, but I've definitely been like, this girl getting on my darn nerves. She is so all over the place. Hannah and Leo are probably getting on my nerves. Because I'm like, Leo, I don't want girls to like me for my money, but I talk about having, is that Leo with the money? That's just, if whoever the guy is with the money, I think it's Leo. I don't want girls to like me for my money, but I talk about having money every 3 to 5 seconds. Super weird. And then Hannah just be on a verge of a nervous breakdown every 3 to 7 minutes. And then she's letting other people influence her decision, and I'm just like, you got to have a mind of your own, because other people aren't the ones that's going to be in the relationship with you. And also, can you have some confidence? What are we doing? There's one couple that's super cute, but I don't know their names. It's too early. I'm sorry. I know this is, I said super quick. I'm on episode 2, but I've only watched a few minutes of episode 2. It's really early, but that's like my really super quick early thoughts. Love is Blind is super annoying, but it's such a guilty pleasure. So that's that. I do plan on, as of right now, that's subject to change, reviewing Married at First Sight, but I don't ever start reviewing Married at First Sight until the honeymoon, so it hasn't even started, and we've got a way to go to the honeymoon. So, well, that's that. That's my little reality recap, reality roundup. What are your thoughts about these shows? Yeah, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, no Thursday episode this week. We'll be back, Lord willing. No, we'll be back next week. And thank you for tuning in. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit me up, internalramblespodcast.com, or on YouTube. Would love to know. Subscribe to me so you get my episodes. Thank you for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. Self-care is very important. And until next episode, this is your girl, Rochelle.